subscribe and like the video. I can't stand it. Maybe I got that smug, elitist, entitled liberal in me, but like it's just so I don't even have the words to describe it. I feel like it's just not for me. This branding is for a different kind of person. You know what I mean? A different kind of person that I can just imagine in my mind. I gave a quote the other day, which is just like the type of person who is most likely to be pulled into a cryptocurrency rug pull. And I hate it because there are more people like that than there are people who even demand like some semblance of intelligence in the branding of this administration. It's really a sign of the change in attitude. It's a sign of the times when you got almost got it. I hit it, but I don't know where it went. Okay, there was a gnat. The dumber they are, the dumber American people get. Yes, that's what's so frustrating about it. It's just like, it's not that these guys are stupid. It's that it also is a somber reminder that everyone else is getting dumber and dumber because they eat this. They eat this garbage and go, this is brilliant. It is a consistent, resilient reminder that we are actively getting dumber. I hate it. Just bought a new PC laptop and it won't let me use it unless I create a Microsoft account, which also means giving their AI access to my computer. This is messed up. There used to be an option to skip signing into creating a Microsoft account. Are you seeing this too? Yeah, he's Mr. Linux, dude. This is the nation's tech support, by the way. Yeah. Exclusive. FDA staff reviewing Musk's Neuralink were included in Doge employee firing, sources say. Wow. Color me surprised. I can't believe Elon Musk would take advantage of the awesome power that he has over the regulatory agencies that are tasked with understandably regulating his ridiculous, unethical businesses. I agree with him on this. I hate how invasive Microsoft is. Yeah, it is true. They are annoying, but this is more so a testament that he doesn't understand that there's a workaround as Mr. Tech Support. Anyway, let's tune into what's going on in China. Zhang Hongli, former vice president of the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, was on Wednesday sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve for accepting bribes worth over 177 million yuan, which is about 24.3 million, according to a court in the city of Hangzhou, East China's Zhejiang. I'm not an advocate for capital punishment, of course. I'm just showing that. I'm just showing what? Oh, Zhujiang. I'm not an advocate for capital punishment. However, the fact that, people like this do get punished is interesting. But what is it? With a 2-year reprieve, does that mean that there is a rehabilitation? Zhejiang. 2-year reprieve means if he doesn't mess up again.
Gone to China.
If we had understood the way Chinese banking system worked, we would have never gone there. Former CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, the Chinese Communist Party can control anything it wants in China.
Should never have gone to China in the first place. If we had understand the way that the China banking system works and the Chinese economy works, we never would have taken our business model to China. The Chinese Communist Party can control anything it wants to in China. And I would go so far as to say if they're not controlling aspects of what you're doing in China, you're probably doing something that's fairly unimportant. Or you're being controlled and you don't know it because you're lacking self-awareness.
I don't even know if it was short-term benefit seeking or if it was short-term benefit seeking and also white supremacist attitudes. I think it was, I don't know which one was more important here. I think they genuinely were like, yeah, these barbaric Chinese peasants will never be able to actually fully implement the things that they claim that they want to do. How the hell are they going to do any of that? I think that's part of the reason why they so voluntarily released their IP in an effort to make China the manufacturing hub. It's pretty funny that he does look like those like old school anti-capitalist cartoons, like propaganda cartoons that would depict like a parasitic land baron. You know what I mean? He literally just looks with the glasses and everything. He just straight up He just straight up looks like the piggish parasitic landlord or whatever. Oh, if only we would have known how the Chinese economy works. Okay, well then I guess you're a dumbass. You know what I mean? Then and you're basically admitting that meritocracy is a lie in a different way. You're taking the long way to say, hey, we're just like the stupidest people on the planet. We are the dumbest people you've ever encountered. We just had no idea that China was quote unquote stealing our IP. We had no idea that China was actually engaging in even development rather than allowing the corporations to dominate and generate untold amounts of wealth and prosperity, keeping it to themselves. Wow, that's really messed up that they actually have real commitments to long-term planning and that they abide by said commitment. That is totally unacceptable. I already watched the Chinese Centuries here. It's a great video. What is this? He's really like, if we couldn't exploit the Chinese people like we do Americans, we wouldn't have gone there. But they did. They did exploit the Chinese citizens. The point is, in all of the, by sending in all of this foreign capital while exploiting the Chinese citizens, they thought that the Chinese government had no additional ambition other than behaving like the American government historically has, you know? That's the problem. The problem here isn't that, the problem here is that they thought that, the problem here is that they thought that China would not actually follow through. I do think it's interesting how much the overall attitude is shifting as well. I think the overall attitude shift towards China in the past like 2 years is also something to take note of. Back in the day when I said anything even remotely positive about China, people would be up my ass. Like they would be going crazy. Be like, no, China's going to collapse in a year, dumbass. China is going to destroy itself in like literally 3.5 minutes. Even a year ago, people were more aggressive about that sort of thing. And nowadays, I see a lot more like active glazing of China. It's interesting. It's just something that I've noticed. That was like 3 people. That's 100% not true. The entirety of the liberal media consumers and enjoyers across the board still to a certain degree try to maintain this position, but they were way more aggro with that statement. There are a lot more normies who just go, I don't think Chinese people are my enemy now than ever before.
But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. You know, they could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? Do you need the Republican Congress
and
to follow
will be.
up?
A lot of them will be,
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're down like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses. She's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them. And now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space, first private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink
At some point. Yeah.
is in over.
I mean, they was asking me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries.
Oh,
This is going to be
one can
hard.
only
I feel
dream.
like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
Yes.
and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that
Yeah.
to becoming a success?
Neuralink,
Yeah, dude. Here is Sean Hannity talking to a billionaire about how dope it is that he wants to brain chip everyone. Okay? Like, Republicans are obviously cooked, but I never really thought how cooked they would be in terms of, like, how susceptible. Like, I didn't think that they'd be this susceptible to propaganda. Okay? Because I feel like this is, I mean, it's like, it's directly what they claim Bill Gates wanted to do. And here is Sean Hannity saying, like, you're trying to do this thing that we've attributed to Bill Gates for years, and it's an overwhelmingly positive thing. I love it. Please, how can I sign up for my brain chip? Like, these guys went from 5G coronavirus vaccines are giving you, they're putting a brain chip in your mind, to, like, Elon Musk is actually going to do that, and it's going to be awesome when he does.
we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time.
Matters.
But
That's why.
But he's on your team.
President.
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So,
I'm just trying to be useful
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are, okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so just.
And they're very committed people.
So
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that. in an interview.
When are you
At
gonna-
the
getting
president's
them?
request or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
This is a direct shot at Boeing, by the way. They're like, yeah, we'll get SpaceX to return them instead of Boeing. Straight up, that's what that is. He's giving a W.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had to wait,
What political reasons would they be left up there for? Like Biden just wanted to abandon the astronauts in space? Is that what you're saying? Because of woke? The astronauts were not woke. That's why Biden left them there.
of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent.
My suspicion for Boeing, my suspicion for why Boeing didn't do their scheduled flight return was unironically because they were already getting pummeled in the media at the time. And they were worried that these missions are risky and there's a chance for failure. It would have been the final draw for Boeing. And that's literally the reason why they were like, nah, let's just keep them up there for now. This is my speculation. I'm just assuming that they did it for bottom line purposes.
But we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. So as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space.
It's not political. It's profit related. I suspect that they considered it to be too big a risk, which is still ridiculous to keep him up there for that reason, just so you know.
I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like
He
we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity.
Yeah, Biden has nothing to do with this. Like, if you think that Biden himself made this decision, you're out of your mind.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people
He saved a lot of lives
in
North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay, now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again,
Oh my God, the glaze is crazy.
to getting
The astronauts themselves a few days ago said this was a lie. The astronauts were scheduled to return in February, but that has been delayed to late March due to testing of SpaceX Crew 10. The Crew 9 missions were reduced to 2 astronauts. No, this is not correct. Another delay, as evidenced by the fact that even the article title says another delay. They were supposed to return a long time ago. It's a Boeing mission. Yeah. After a series of technical hiccups prevented Boeing Starliner capsule from bringing NASA astronauts Sunita Sunny Williams and Barry Butch Wilmore back to Earth in August 2024, it appears that yet another delay will keep the two in space an extra few months. Like, it's not because of politics. It has nothing to do with Biden. It has more to do with Boeing itself. Yeah, they were not abandoned necessarily. That is also ridiculous. But understand that this was not about Biden at all. It was a risk assessment made by Boeing and NASA, but primarily Boeing. And I think the risk assessment was also the safety risk of the return flight, but more so the risk assessment of what might happen if there's a failure to Boeing stock. Do they have enough oxygen? Yes, dude. What? No, they're going to kill them. What do you mean? Do they have enough oxygen? Yeah. Oops. I guess they forgot. Do they have enough food? Yes, they have enough everything. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, they get supplies up there. They get resupplied in the process. That's been the rhetoric. That's been the narrative from day one. Stranded, abandoned, stuck, Butch Wilmore said while speaking to CNN's Anderson Cooper from the ISS. But that is, again, not what our human spaceflight program is about. Although Wilmore admitted that he understood why others may think that, he said that they came to space prepared for any and all contingencies that we can conceive of. We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded. The astronaut continued. If you'll help us change the rhetoric, help us change the narrative, let us change it to prepared and committed. That's what we prefer. Anyway.